There will come a day when the world hits you so hard that your mind begins to whisper, "I can't take this anymore." The betrayal you never expected, the failure that shakes your identity, the silence after the loss of someone you thought would always be there. In that moment, when everything collapses, most people break. But a rare few become something else. They become unbreakable. Not because they're born stronger, but because they chose to forge themselves in the fire. Marcus Aurelius once faced plague, war, and heartbreak, and yet in his darkest moments, he wrote words that would outlive empires. The obstacle is the way. To the Stoics, pain was never the enemy. Pain was the teacher. The Stoic doesn't pray for an easy life. He trains for a difficult one. He doesn't ask, "Why me?" He says, "Try me." And that is how ordinary people become extraordinary. The truth is, life will break you down. It's not a question of if, but when. The question that defines you is simple. Will you stay broken? Or will you use the pain to build something indestructible inside you? A calm mind, a steady spirit, a fortress no chaos can breach. This is what Stoicism teaches. That the strongest person in the room is not the one who never falls, but the one who always gets back up with purpose. So if you're ready to stop merely surviving and start becoming unbreakable, subscribe to Inner Citadel. Because here, we don't chase motivation, we cultivate mastery. Together, we're building minds that endure, hearts that stay steady, and spirits that rise no matter what life throws at us. Stay with me, because the journey to becoming unbreakable begins now. The Stoic definition of strength. When most people think of strength, they imagine muscles, status, control, the ability to force outcomes, to dominate circumstances. But to the Stoics, true strength was quiet. It lived not in the body, but in the mind. The Stoic definition of strength is this: to remain calm, steady, and virtuous when life refuses to cooperate. Marcus Aurelius called it the fortress within, an inner citadel where no insult, loss, or chaos can reach you. Think about that. A place within yourself that nothing can shake. The Stoic doesn't waste energy trying to control the world. He masters the only thing he truly owns, his response. Seneca wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. That single line changes everything, because the moment you stop expecting life to be fair and start training yourself to endure, you become unstoppable. When something goes wrong, and it will, ask yourself, is this within my control? If the answer is no, release it. If the answer is yes, act with clarity. That's Stoic strength. Not reaction, not panic, just reason, patience, and power under control. The strong man doesn't yell when he's tested. He breathes. He observes. He adapts. Because every challenge is an opportunity, not to prove your toughness, but to practice your training. Picture this. Two people face the same disaster. One crumbles, one rises. The difference isn't fate, it's philosophy. One believes the world controls him. The other knows he controls his response. And that simple awareness separates those who survive from those who evolve. The Stoic doesn't suppress emotion. He he channels it. Anger becomes fuel for justice. Pain becomes material for wisdom. Fear becomes the raw material for courage. You see, being unbreakable isn't about never feeling. It's about feeling deeply and choosing to rise anyway. This is why Stoicism isn't cold. It's fire, directed with discipline. It's standing in the middle of the storm and saying, "This, too, is part of my training." That's what Marcus Aurelius meant when he wrote, "A blazing fire makes flame and brightness out of everything thrown into it." Life will throw pain, failure, loss, humiliation, all of it. But the Stoic? He burns brighter because of it. So, pause for a moment. Think about your last storm, the setback that still lingers in your memory, the heartbreak that once made you question your worth. How did you respond? Did it define you, or did it refine you? Every hardship is raw material. You decide what it becomes. Now I want to hear from you. What's the hardest challenge that taught you something about strength? What moment made you realize you were tougher than you thought? Share it in the comments, because your story might be the one that gives someone else the courage to keep going. And if this message resonates with you, don't just listen. Subscribe to Inner Citadel, because here, we're not chasing comfort. We're building strength that lasts. Stay with me, because next, we'll uncover the secret practice that turns every obstacle into your greatest teacher. Turning pain into power. Pain. It's the one teacher we never ask for, but the one we all meet eventually. To the Stoics, pain wasn't punishment. It was preparation. Marcus Aurelius endured betrayal from friends, loss of children, the weight of an empire collapsing. And yet, he wrote not with bitterness, but with gratitude. The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. Those weren't just poetic words. They were a survival manual. Because pain is not the end of your strength, it's the beginning of it. Think about it. Every scar, every heartbreak, every loss you've endured, didn't it teach you something? Didn't it shape the person you've become? The Stoics believed every hardship carried a hidden gift, a chance to grow in courage, patience, or wisdom. Seneca said it best, "Difficulties strengthen the mind, as labor does the body." That's the Stoic formula. Don't flee from pain. Face it, study it, transform it. When you lose something you love, learn gratitude for what remains. When someone wrongs you, practice forgiveness, not for them, but to free yourself. When failure breaks you, rebuild with precision and purpose. Because every time you rise from pain, something unshakable forms inside you. Pain may bend you, but it also tempers you, like fire forging steel. And when you finally realize that even suffering can serve you, you stop fearing it. That's when you become unstoppable. The next time life hurts, don't ask, "Why me?" Ask, "What is this trying to teach me?" Because pain only defeats you if you refuse to learn from it. Let every scar remind you, you survived, you adapted, you grew. That's how pain becomes power. Tell me in the comments, what's one hardship that changed you for the better? Your story might give someone else the strength to keep going. And if you haven't yet, subscribe to Inner Citadel, where we turn adversity into armor and pain into purpose. The Stoic mindset, control and acceptance. Imagine this. You're standing in the middle of a storm. The rain is relentless. The wind is merciless. You can't stop the storm, but you can decide how you'll stand in it. That's the essence of the Stoic mindset. The world is full of chaos, loss, and change, and yet you still have agency. Control and acceptance, the twin pillars of Stoic strength. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." To the Stoics, this wasn't theory, it was survival. Because the moment you try to control what's uncontrollable, you hand your peace over to the world. But the moment you shift your focus inward, to your thoughts, your judgments, your actions, you become unshakable. Most people spend their lives fighting reality, wishing things were different, resenting what already is. But acceptance isn't surrender, it's strategy. The Stoic doesn't say, "This shouldn't happen." He says, "It has happened. Now what can I do with it?" That small change of language transforms despair into direction. Because pain may be inevitable, but suffering is optional. You suffer the moment you resist what's already true. Acceptance is power, because it frees the energy wasted on wishing. You can't calm the storm outside, but you can calm the storm within. That's the heart of Stoicism, mastering the space between stimulus and response. You can't choose everything that happens, but you can always choose who you'll be when it does. So next time life shakes you, ask, "Is this under my control?" If yes, act with purpose. If no, breathe and let it pass. That's how you protect your peace. That's how you build your inner citadel. Share in the comments, what's something you're learning to let go of? Your insight might help someone else find their calm. And if this lesson speaks to you, subscribe to Inner Citadel, where we turn chaos into clarity and control into calm. Self-reliance, the power of counting on yourself. There comes a moment in every life when you realize no one is coming to save you. The Stoics called that moment freedom, because it's only when you stop expecting rescue that you discover your real strength. Marcus Aurelius led armies through war and plague, but even surrounded by advisors and guards, he understood one truth. Look well within. Within is the fountain of good. The Stoic knew that peace, power, and purpose cannot be borrowed. They must be built. In a world that teaches us to depend on praise, validation, and noise, Stoicism whispers, stand alone if you must, but stand true. To rely on yourself doesn't mean isolation. It means accountability. It means knowing that your happiness doesn't live in someone else's hands. When you stop blaming, you start building. Every time you take responsibility for your choices, even the painful ones, you reclaim a piece of your power. Because the moment you say, "This is mine to face," life can no longer control you. That's how the Stoic becomes self-reliant, not by rejecting others, but by mastering himself. Epictetus, born a slave, said it with perfect clarity. No man is free unless he is master of himself. Think about that. A man with nothing, no wealth, no power, no status, had more freedom than emperors because his peace wasn't for sale. Self-reliance isn't arrogance, it's alignment. It's standing in the truth that your reactions, your discipline, your integrity belong to you alone. And when you own them fully, no one can take them from you. So ask yourself, where are you still waiting for someone else to fix what only you can face? Share your thoughts in the comments. Your story might remind someone that they already have what it takes. And if this message resonates with you, subscribe to Inner Citadel, because here, we don't seek rescue. We learn to rely on the one person we'll spend our entire life with, ourselves. The power of persistence, showing up every day. Most people believe greatness is born in moments of inspiration. But the Stoics knew greatness is forged in repetition. It's not about feeling ready. It's about showing up every single day, even when the motivation is gone. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "At dawn, when you rise unwillingly, remember, I am rising to do the work of a human being." The Stoic doesn't wait to feel disciplined. He acts disciplined until it becomes who he is. Because persistence isn't about passion, it's about purpose. You don't show up to be perfect. You show up to keep a promise to yourself. Think of your life as a forge. Every small act of consistency, every morning you rise early, every temptation you resist, every effort you make when no one's watching, adds another layer of strength to your character. The Stoics called this daily training of the soul. They understood that resilience isn't built by intensity, but by continuity. A single day of effort changes nothing. 1,000 small efforts change everything. The Stoic doesn't chase moods, he honors habits, because he knows the world rewards those who persist, not those who wait. The mind will whisper excuses. The body will beg for rest. The world will distract you. But if you can stand firm and do the thing you said you would, you've already won. That's what Stoic mastery looks like. Quiet, consistent, unstoppable. Remember this. Every time you show up when it's hard, you're rewriting who you are. You're proving that your discipline is stronger than your doubt. And that is how you become unbreakable. Tell me in the comments, what's one small thing you're committing to show up for tomorrow? Your consistency might inspire someone else to begin. And if this message fuels you, subscribe to Inner Citadel, where we show up every single day to train the mind and strengthen the soul. Voluntary hardship, training for life's battles. Most people spend their lives avoiding pain. The Stoics did the opposite. They chose discomfort, not out of cruelty, but out of preparation. Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus practiced voluntary hardship, sleeping on hard ground, walking barefoot in the cold, fasting, or living without comfort, to remind themselves how little they truly needed. They weren't punishing themselves, they were training for life's battles. Because when you strip away luxury, you find clarity. When you endure small discomforts willingly, you become calm when the real ones arrive. Seneca wrote, "Set aside a certain number of days, during which you shall be content with the scantiest fare and rough clothing, saying to yourself, 'Is this the condition I feared?'" It's not about suffering. It's about strengthening your tolerance for life itself. Imagine the difference between a soldier who trains in peace and one who doesn't. When the battle begins, one panics, the other performs. The Stoic sees life the same way. Every day is training. Every challenge is practice. Every hardship is a chance to grow stronger before the next one comes. When you live this way, adversity no longer surprises you. You meet it with a steady breath and quiet confidence. Voluntary hardship builds gratitude. It reminds you of all the comforts you take for granted: your bed, your meal, your warmth. When you've chosen discomfort, you stop fearing it. And when you stop fearing it, nothing can hold power over you. So once in a while, step outside your comfort. Challenge yourself deliberately, not to suffer, but to remember your own resilience. Tell me in the comments, what's one way you could train your mind through discomfort this week? Maybe it's waking up early. Maybe it's silence. Maybe it's patience. Every small act of hardship builds your inner armor. And if this resonates with you, subscribe to Inner Citadel. Because here, we don't avoid the storm, we prepare for it. The eternal practice, becoming unbreakable. Becoming unbreakable isn't a single act. It's not a burst of courage in one heroic moment. It's a daily practice. The Stoics understood that greatness isn't built in noise. It's forged in the silence of discipline. Marcus Aurelius didn't become calm by accident. He became calm because every morning he faced himself and chose reason over rage, duty over comfort, virtue over ease. He knew the mind could be a battlefield, and like a soldier, he trained for it. Because the untrained mind is fragile. It breaks when life applies pressure. But a disciplined mind? It bends, adapts, and endures. Every hardship becomes a teacher. Every setback becomes a test. The Stoic doesn't ask, "Why me?" He asks, "What now?" He sees pain not as punishment, but as preparation. You don't become unbreakable by avoiding pain. You become unbreakable by facing it and realizing it cannot define you. The world will test you. You'll lose things you love. You'll be misunderstood. You'll walk alone. But each time you rise from that, a piece of you hardens, not in bitterness, but in strength. The Stoics called this inner citadel, the fortress within. A place no insult, no loss, no chaos can touch. That's your true empire. Not the job, not the wealth, not the reputation, but the calm center that remains when everything else falls away. To be unbreakable is to live with purpose when the world feels meaningless. To love deeply even when love brings pain. To act with courage even when fear still whispers in your ear. That is the Stoic path. You will stumble, you will fall, but every time you return to your principles, you rise stronger than before. Because the goal isn't perfection, it's persistence. The goal isn't peace without storms, it's peace within them. Remember, every breath, every decision, every sunrise is another chance to build your citadel. You're not here to escape pain. You're here to transcend it. And if these words speak to you, if you're ready to master your mind and rebuild your strength from the inside out, then this is your home. Subscribe to Inner Citadel. Leave a comment below. Tell us what being unbreakable means to you. Because this isn't just a channel. It's a brotherhood, a sisterhood, a gathering of souls walking the Stoic path together. Until next time, stay disciplined, stay grounded, and never forget, the fortress is within you.